Good morning, everyone. My name is Reese and I work for CoreLogic, specializing in matrix. And today we're going to cover matrix, the basics. But before we get started, I want to give you all some background information on the MLS. So I'm going to briefly go over this handout. Just bear with me. All right, so this is the Gulf South Real Estate Information Network, GISRIN for short. We're the largest MLS in Louisiana with over 5,500 members, 900 of which are broker offices. The MLS director is Rosemary Scardina, and she can be reached at rosemary@nomar.org. The GISRIN board is wholly owned by NOMAR and is an autonomous board and governed by its own directors. The board of directors of GISRIN are active realtors, members like you that have been elected by membership each year and dedicate their time to the board. GISRIN covers a 10-parish area that includes Jefferson, Orleans, St. Bernard, Plaquemine, St. James, St. John, St. Charles, St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, and Washington. Being a licensed Louisiana realtor means you can list or sell properties anywhere in Louisiana, but if you list a property, it will only appear on the board's MLS even if it's in a different part of the state, such as Lake Charles. All listings that are residential, multifamily, vacant land, and leased property types are pulled every 15 minutes by Realtor.com for national exposure. The board has MLS rules and regulations that need to be followed to ensure a cohesive system and so that you avoid fines. All have been decided on by your GISRIN board at some point in time. And I have a few rules and regulations I would like to go over, just the basic ones for the most part. So, all listings must be entered into the MLS within 72 hours of broker's signature on the listing agreement, excluding weekends and holidays. Any change in list price should be entered into the MLS within 72 hours of all required signatures, excluding weekends and holidays. If an offer has been accepted on a property, the status must be changed accordingly from active to either under contract, open predication, or pending continue to show within 72 hours, excluding weekends and holidays. Properties that have been sold must go under sold status within 72 hours, excluding weekends and holidays. And last but not least, photos have to be entered into a complete listings before the listing can be made active. All right, everyone, so now it's time to get started with Matrix, but I know you're probably wondering, hey, what is Matrix? So, Matrix is a HTML-based MLS system which allows users to input, edit, view, and share listings along with several other features, such as creating CMAs. And if you're not familiar with the term CMA, it stands for Comparative Market Analysis. The whole point of doing a CMA is to determine the going rate of a property via the actual subject property type, such as residential, multifamily, vacant land, commercial, etc. It's going to also include the specification of the subject property, the location of the subject property, and the time range of the comps. Okay? So, with that being said, let me show you all how to actually get to Matrix. So the first thing you would need to do is open up your internet browser. Okay? It can be any internet browser you choose. It's personal preference. I have Google Chrome open. Okay? You can use whatever you see fit. Alright, so let's log in. And if you have any issues logging in, you can contact CoreLogic, aka MLS support, okay, at 504-456-9903. And if you don't have your login credentials, you can contact Lisette with the board, okay? So let's log in. Alright, so we're all logged in. So this is the home page, okay? When you get to the home page, the first thing you may notice is the tabs at the top, okay? Such as home, you have the home tab, you have search, you have stats. So stats is something that I cover in Matrix 2, okay? This is just going to be the basics to get you all started. So with that being said, I still recommend taking a Matrix 1 and a Matrix 2. Stats is going to be covered in Matrix 2, okay? We have My Matrix. My Matrix consists of all of your work and activity that you do in Matrix, okay? Whether it's a save, search, auto email, your personal information, all your listings, your contacts, it's all going to be under My Matrix, okay? Next, we have Realist Tax. So, Realist Tax is your go-to tax record program, okay? If you need to pull up any tax information on properties in those areas that I named earlier, you can access that information all via Realist Tax, okay? That is also going to be covered in Matrix 2, okay? Next, we have the Links tab, Finance. So, Finance is basically a bunch of different calculators that serve different purposes. So whenever you have time, you can go in there and venture off and see what you have at your disposal. Also, we have market reports. So market reports is going to be covered in Matrix 2 as well. That's basically going to be like your agent production reports to see what your sales and your lease was within a specific time frame. You can also do an inventory count for the market for whatever area you choose to put the emphasis on. And also, over here, you have the Input tab. The Input tab will allow you to input listings, okay? You can also go to the Input tab to edit your listings, okay? And last but not least, you have the Help tab. So with that being said, I'm going to click on the Help tab. The Help tab is basically going to be your go-to whenever you have questions and you don't feel like calling or emailing MLS support, okay? If you click on the Help tab and you come over here to the left-hand column of this page, you see where it says Help Index. Look right where it says Matrix Video Tutorials. There's literally a video for almost every subject in Matrix. All you have to do is just click on whatever one you're interested in, and you're gonna get a video tutorial. So if you go right here, let's just say contacts. You click on it, and you can watch the video right here. No need to leave Matrix. You just press play, and you can make the video large to cover your full screen, and you're good to go, okay? So let's go back to home. Oh, disclaimer. We do have videos, but that does not mean that you should not take the actual hands-on courses, which would be Matrix 1, then following up with a Matrix 2, and then wrapping everything up with a tips and tricks, what I like to call Matrix 3. So keep in mind, the videos are there just in case you need immediate tutorials. But you cannot ask the video questions, and you may have some questions, so I highly recommend that you come to the classes. All right, so let's move on. So back to the home page. So on the home page, you'll notice that there's multiple widgets. If you're not familiar with the term widgets, widgets are these little boxes, such as my stats, my listings, my carts. As you can see, you can move these widgets around, put them in whatever order you see fit. As you see what I'm doing right now, you all can do this. The only widget that you cannot move around is news and alerts. Okay, that's the only one you cannot move around. All right, so with that being said, let's start with news and alerts. So whenever you log into Matrix, if there's any news and alerts that you have not seen, that's going to be the first thing that pops up. You're going to be given two options. You can either read the news and alert now or read it later. I highly recommend that you read it on the spot because you don't know when it's going to expire. It may be something vital. It may be something along the lines of, hey, tonight at 9 p.m. Matrix will be down to system maintenance. Anything along those lines. You may have something scheduled at 9 p.m. So you need to know ahead of time. You don't want to find this out the last minute. So you always want to put the emphasis on your news and alerts, okay? So whenever you want to reference back to any news and alerts, just locate the widget, which is right there. You can't move it. Let's click right here on Did You Know? Okay, let's just say this is something you want to reference back to. You can view it, scroll down, read everything you need to read. You can print it, and when you're done, you can just close it. All right? So that's pretty much it for news and alerts. Let's move on. Next, you have hot sheets. So hot sheets allows users to monitor the market for status changes. Emphasis on change types such as price increase, decrease, back on market, withdrawn, sold, anything along those lines, okay? Whenever you're doing a hot sheet, I always recommend that you put the emphasis on a specific location, okay? Whether it's a zip code, a neighborhood, a city, because if you do not, you're liable to have 1,000+ listings to look through just to find something for your client or yourself, okay? So always put the emphasis on a location. Now, let's break down this hot sheet widget. So, as you can see right here, the hot sheet widget is categorized by the actual hot sheet titles, whatever it's named. As you can see, I have residential multifamily. I have parentheses, emphasis on 70122, and the price range, which is 150,000 or more. That's what the plus means, okay? And you can also see it's categorized by the defaults, which will be titled whatever your default property types are. So you have cross property, residential, multifamily, vacant land, commercial. At least you're going to have one for each one. Now keep this in mind. You can only have 10 rows on each widget. So you're limited to how many you can have. So with that being said, you're going to start off with about 6 defaults. So that gives you room for 4 customs. Yes, you can create your own hot sheet from scratch, and I will cover that. Okay, so let's just say You wanted more space for your customs. You say, hey, I don't need 6 for the defaults. I'd rather have all of that space for my customs. Well, what you can do is you can just delete the ones you don't want and clear up some space or free up some space for your other custom hot sheets. So let's look further. You all see right here where it says 7-day. That's going to be your time range, and that pertains to the time range of the results for your hot sheets. So if I was to click right here at the top where it says residential multifamily, I will get results within the last 7 days. If I click this drop down, I can change that to whatever I see fit. I have new only, this session, 24 hours, today, 3 days, 7 days, and custom, okay? So what I tell everyone is, if you decide to go in there and change the criteria for whatever the reason may be, I recommend that you at least put the emphasis on the last 3 days. I would not go any lower than the last 3 days, because what happens is when people see 0 for results, they automatically think they did something wrong, when in actuality, you didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't have any results based upon your criteria, okay? So set it to the last 7 days or last 3 days, get familiar with what's on the market, and then you can always set it to the last 24 hours and just stay current from that point on, okay? So let's move on. If you look over to the left of that field, you'll see where it says customize. So whenever you need to make any adjustments to your criteria for any existing hot sheets, all you do is click on customize. Do not click on the actual hot sheet, because if you do, you won't have the option to edit the criteria. It will bring you straight to the results, okay? So with that being said, let's click on customize. So when you get here, it's going to bring you to the manage hot sheets page, right? So this is where you make all your adjustments, rename your hot sheets, delete, etc., right? So the first thing you would need to do here, if you're doing anything except adding your own, is highlight the hot sheet you would like to make an adjustment to, okay? So if it's cross property, residential, let's just say residential, right? You would just highlight residential, move over to the right-hand column. You can move it up, you can move it down, you can add a new one. But if you add a new one, you do not have to worry about what's selected, because you're adding something completely new. You can rename it. I always advise realtors, so if you go in there and you change the criteria for a default, I always recommend that you go and change the name as well, because a month may pass, you may have not been in Matrix, and may come back and think that it's just a defaulted property type for your hot sheet, when in actuality you went in there and changed something. You just didn't put anything to signify your change. So always put something in the title, even if it's something as simple as the price range or the location, okay? Also, right here where it says edit criteria, this is where you will go and edit your criteria for that existing hot sheet. Right here where it says reset criteria, now the reason why that's grayed out is because I don't have anything to reset. Let me click something where I know I changed the criteria. See, now I can click reset criteria, because the thing about the system is it will not give you the option to reset something if there's nothing to reset, okay? And last but not least, here's your delete option, where you can delete your hot sheets, okay? So this is what we're gonna do now. We're going to go in here and we're going to just hit add. Let's get to the good stuff. So you see where it says hot sheet type? Click the drop down. This little box right here is going to give you all the different property types. Now this is vital. You have to make sure you select the right hot sheet type, because let's just say you're dealing with a situation where you want to put the emphasis on more than one property type, right? You want to put the emphasis on more than one property type. The only route you can take to get this accomplished is going the cross property route. Meaning, hey, this hot sheet type consists of all property types. That's what cross property means. It means all the above, okay? So it doesn't mean you have to use every property type, but it gives you the option to select what property types you want to work with within that selection pool, okay? So for this scenario, we're going to just go with residential multifamily, okay? So I need to do cross property, so I can have that option to specify that. Where it says name, I can just take that out, and I can put whatever I want in there. So I'm just going to abbreviate. I'm going to put res and multi for multifamily, okay? And you'll notice that I'm abbreviating. I'm doing that because I want to be able to put more information on that row. If you go back to the widget, you'll see that that space is limited. So if you abbreviate, you can put more information in that title, okay? Then I'm going to put emphasis on 70118 parentheses. Now, I'm putting mine in like this. You all can put it in however you see fit. This is personal preference, okay? Then we're going to hit save. Always save your work. Look for your confirmation right here. It's going to always be under the Gidgerin logo right here, okay? So that's completed. A lot of people will say, hey, I'm done now. Well, you're not done, okay? So you created the hot sheet, but now you need to make it make sense. So technically, that cross property search is just going to be broad. It's going to be all property types, all criteria, okay? I need to go and make it match that title. So I'm going to make sure it's highlighted, and then I'm going to go over here to the right-hand column, and I'm going to hit Edit Criteria. Let me scroll up, because I want to show you all something. See right here where it says Change Type? This is the whole point of doing a hot sheet, the change type. If you're not putting emphasis on any of these change types or statuses, don't even do a hot sheet, just go and do a search, a regular search, and I'll get to that later, okay? So let me go over this. So you have new listing, you have price decrease, price increase, back on market, active, leased, sold, withdrawn, expired, now listed, sold, or leased, meaning it was sold by the owner, okay? It was for sale or leased by owner, okay? Open predication, pending continue to show, and under contract. Always pay attention to what you have underneath your criteria field. You have R, not, okay? R means this or that, okay? Not means, hey, whatever I have selected, I do not want that, okay? I want everything that's not selected, okay? So make sure you know if you have R or not. R is going to be set as a default, by the way. All right? So this triggers another question. So a lot of people may say, hey, Reese, how do I go in there and select multiple options? Because when I click on multiple, it gives me one or the other. Okay, so this is how you go about that. If it's a PC, you want to hold down Control, and you just select what you want, okay? If it's a Mac, you hold down Command. When you want to deselect, you hold down Control or Command again, and you just click on what you wanted to deselect, all right? So let me scroll down. See right here where it says property type? This is the reason why we took the cross property type route, because it gives me the option to select what property types I want to work with. So let me go ahead and make sure it makes sense. I want multifamily residential. So multifamily or residential, okay? I tell everyone, whenever you create your own custom, the first thing you want to do is just make sure it makes sense. You can put all the other criteria in after, okay? So let me go over here to my location. Now I have different routes I can take for the location, but I'm going to stick to what I put in the title. I use the zip code, so I'm going to enter a zip code. Zip code right here, 70118. Now this is important. Whenever you type in a zip code, make sure you hit enter or select it from the drop down, because watch what happens if I do not. It's gone, okay? If you don't see an option to remove something, then you know it hasn't been added, okay? So let me type that in and hit enter. All right, and actually that's 70119. I want 70118. That's what I want. All right. Now, let's just say you wanted to add multiple. You notice when I hit enter just now, it gave me another row, so I can add multiple. So you can just keep on repeating those steps and add as many as you need right there, okay? So technically, I'm done. If you want to put anything else in there, you can, but if I just leave what I have, at least the title and the hot sheet will make sense. So I'm going to go right down here to the left-hand corner, bottom left-hand. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to save it, hot sheet customized, that's my confirmation. And we're going to hit done. It's going to bring me back to the home page. Now let's test it out. Remember what I was telling you before, you want to start with at least the last 3 days or 7 days for the results, just to see what was there previously. Then you can change it to the last 24 hours to stay current. Because keep in mind, whenever you change this time range, it will stay to whatever you set until you go in there and manually change it again. It could be a year, years, it doesn't matter. Whatever you left it at the last time you were in here, that's what it's going to be until you change it, okay? So I have the last 7 days. As you can see at the bottom, residential and multi, 70118. Let's click it. Here's my results. So I only have 26 versus 2600, okay? So if you scroll all the way over here to the right, let me go back. Right over here to the right, you'll see the last change type column, okay? You're only going to get change types or statuses based upon what you selected. And if you click this MLS number, I'm not going to go too far ahead, I don't want to lose you all, but if you click the MLS number, this is how you can view the full listing report, okay? All the details. So let's go back home. All right, and that's pretty much it for hot sheets. So we're going to move on. So next we have Market Watch. So Market Watch is just like the hot sheets because the end result is still a hot sheet. I'll show you. So watch this. So if I go to the results for a hot sheet, you'll see display right here. Everyone see that? It says hot sheet, right? Let me go home and go to Market Watch. So I'm just going to click on the results for one. By the way, to get the results for a Market Watch, you click on the actual change type. status, okay? As you can see in parentheses, it tells you how many results you have for each category. And you still have the time range down here. This is where you actually select your property types, okay? So let me just go in here and just select a miscellaneous one. All right, so watch this. Display, hot sheet. So as you can see, the end result for a market watch and a hot sheet is still a hot sheet. They do not correlate with each other. So if you do something for one, it will not transfer over to the other. They're two separate entities, but the end result will be the same, which is a hot sheet, okay? So let's go home, go back to the hot sheet. All right, see where it says refresh? So what refresh means is, hey, I may be on this home page for 30 minutes, right? A lot can happen in 30 seconds, let alone 30 minutes. So if I hit refresh, what will happen is it's going to rerun those searches and show me what's the difference in results. So if something else went on the market within 30 seconds, once I hit refresh, it will update that information. And as you can see, I previously had new listings 180. Now I have 183. So like I said, that was only, what, 60 seconds? A lot can happen in a matter of seconds, okay? So that's what refresh does. It allows you to get those updated results without logging out and logging back in, okay? And last but not least, you have customize right here. Customize is just like on the hot sheet widget. It brings you to the criteria section to specify what your search is going to pertain to, okay? And you just put in your information and you hit save, all right? That's all it is. Scroll down. All right, so next we have the My Favorite Searches widget. So a favorite search can consist of an auto email or a saved search. Probably wondering, hey, what is that? So I'll elaborate. A saved search is exactly what it sounds like. It's a search that you saved. You went in the system, you specified the criteria, you generated the results, and you saved it all as a whole so you don't have to start from scratch whenever you need to reference back to it, right? An auto email is a saved search, but it incorporates emails going out to your client, but it doesn't stop there. So let's say hypothetically speaking, you had 25 results for your initial search, right? So you're going to take those 25 and you're going to set it up for an auto email. So the 25 results are going to go directly to your client, right? But from that point on, if any listings that hit the market that fit that same search criteria that you specified, what's going to happen from that point on is all of those listings are going to go over to your client, okay? Directly. You don't have to do any work. It's going to go straight to the client, okay? The only way you will have to go in there and do something is if you activated concierge mode. So concierge mode is an auto email feature which allows the sender, which will be you, the realtor, to control what goes to the client via auto email, and I'll get to that later, okay? So I'll give you a few scenarios here. So as you can see, you saved your favorite searches, is going to have the title right here, right? So let's just say you're dealing with a scenario as your client called you and say, hey, can you set me up for an auto email or save search? And let's just say you chose to make it a favorite, right? And let's just say 2 weeks later they call you again and say, hey, I just stumbled across $50,000 and I would like to increase my price range by $50,000 because I can afford more now. Can you go in the system and make that adjustment without having to do it all over again? The answer to that question will be yes, okay? So this is how you would do it if it's a favorite search. So first thing you do, locate the title of the favorite search. I'll just go with example. Click Manage. When you click Manage, you're going to be over here where it says Save Searches or Auto Emails, depending on which one it is, because keep in mind, it can be either or, right? When you go there, you see where it says Example, Settings, you want Criteria. Click on Criteria. And as you can see, now I can go in here and do whatever I want. So if I was over here at the price range, okay, let me point something out. You see those zeros over here that's highlighted? That's your thousands. So with that being said, if my price range was originally 100,000 to 200,000, notice how I just put 100-200. I don't have to put the extra zeros because it's checked off for me. Now with that being said, whenever you're doing a lease property type, deselect those thousands because 1,200 would be like 1.2 million. I'm pretty sure you don't want to find a property for your client that's going to lease out for that amount, right? Yeah, I know I wouldn't. So with that being said, let's just say that's what the price range was originally, and I need to increase that by 50,000. So instead of 100,000 to 200,000, it would be 100,000 to 250,000. So I'm just going to make my simple adjustment right there, okay? And I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to hit save. going to ask me, hey, search name, do you need to make any adjustments? You could be in a situation where you put the price range in the title for the search. Well, if you change the price, then you need to change the price in the actual title, right? So, contact. Now, this is one of those scenarios where I tell everyone if it makes sense to use it. So when you're doing saved searches, it doesn't require you to add a contact. But I say, hey, if you're doing this for a client, and the client's in the system, why wouldn't you associate it with it, right? So with that being said, if it makes sense, use it. So add your client, even though it's not mandatory, okay? All the fields that's highlighted in yellow are mandatory. If it's not yellow, it's optional, okay? Once you're done with that, just hit save. All right, and you're done. Alright, so the last thing I want to cover for the My Favorite Searches widget is the Update All feature, which is located right here. So basically what this does is it reruns the favorite searches and it shows you only what you've missed since the last time you viewed or ran the search, right? So as you can see, if you click Update All, you come down and you look on each row for each favorite search, it's going to tell you how many new listings you've missed since the last time you viewed the results or ran the search, right? So as you can see, for example, I have 9 new, test 123 I have 11, and test 8765 I have 6 new, okay? So with that being said, if you only want to view the new listings that you've missed, you just click on that number of new. Okay, and when you get here, you see this little email column. It's going to show you, tell you, should I say, how many listings you have. It's also going to show you if it went to them or not. As you can see, the majority never went to them. That's why I say it's never. And if it did, it's going to tell you the date. So as you can see, this one went March 3rd, 2020. Okay, so that's a cool little feature. All right, scroll back down. So that's pretty much going to be it for the My Favorite Searches widget, but I do want to give you a little disclaimer. So I do not recommend clicking on the actual title of the favorite search if you don't want to see all the results. If you just want to see what you've missed, click on the number of new, because if you don't, it's going to give you the old and new. You're not going to know the difference, okay? So just keep that in mind. So let's move on. Let's go up to the top. See right here where it says My Stats? That's something that I cover in Matrix 2, but I'll give you a little brief intro on that. So the My Stats widget. So Matrix basically gives users the ability to create charts, graphs, and spreadsheets based upon a select system preset. An example of a system preset would be like average days on market versus list price median. Okay, it's going to take that system preset along with the search criteria, which will be the specifications of the properties. Price range, square footage, beds, baths, location, etc. It's going to take all that information and generate a stat report, okay? And from that point, you have the option to save it. If you choose to save it, you can mark it as a favorite, which will basically position it right here on the My Stats widget, okay? Like I said, I covered that in Matrix 2, so sign up for that class, and we'll cover the whole bulk of it, okay? So let's move on. Next, we have the My Listings widget. So what that is basically going to be your widget that's going to give you the shortcut to view, edit, and share your listings, okay? And it's going to be categorized by the actual status of your listing. So if you have sold listings, it'll say My Sold Listings, parentheses, however many number of sold listings you have. Same thing for off market, pending continue to show, active, etc. Okay? As you can see, I'm not a realtor, so I don't have any listings, so I don't have anything to show you right there. But when you all get into the system and start working, you will definitely have some information there, okay? So let's move on where it says My Carts. Okay, for My Carts is exactly what you're probably thinking. I'm pretty sure majority of you have Amazon accounts. So let's just use that scenario. You're on Amazon.com, right? You're doing some shopping, you have multiple things you want to purchase. You see the first thing you want, but you're not quite ready to check out. So what do? You check it off, add it to the cart, and continue shopping. The same principles apply in Matrix. So let's just say you're doing a search for time, and within time's results, you see something Sally may like. So what do? The listing that Sally may be interested in, you check it off and add it to Sally's cart. When you check it off and add it to Sally's cart, that's basically going to be your storage or your little folder for Sally. So you don't have to go digging for that listing again whenever it's time to work for Sally. You can just go to her cart and pull it up and do whatever you need to do, whether it's print, email, or just view it, right? And then you can finish working with time in the meantime, right? So as you can see, if you look on the widget, you'll see that the carts are going to be categorized by the title of the cart and the actual contact's name, right? And in parentheses, it tells you how many listings you have in that cart, okay? So when we start the search, I'll actually show you how to get those listings to the cart. I'll show you how to add them and remove them, okay? So let's go back up. So next we have the recent portal visitors. So The recent portal visitors is going to be your most recent visitors in your portal. You probably wonder, hey, what's the portal? The portal is your personal profile, which gives all your clients access to view those listings that you email to them. So when you share a listing to a client, it's going to go to them via email, okay? When they click the link within the email, it's going to open up, and the listing is going to show via the portal, aka a client-friendly version of Matrix, okay, that caters to your client, okay? They won't have any confidential information there. It's all client-friendly, so you don't have to worry, okay? I don't have any recent portal visitors, but when you have some, you're going to have the date they went in there. You're going to have little icons such as like a red heart if they mark something that's a favorite. You're going to see a light bulb if they mark something that's a possibility. And also you're going to see a little guy over to the right. Going to look just like this guy right here. And that's basically going to be a shortcut to get to the portal for that individual client, because the portals are not shared. Each client has their own portal, okay? So let's move on. You have recent used contacts, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's going to be your most recent used contacts. You won't see 100 recent used contacts up there. As I specified earlier, you only have room for about 10 rows on each widget. So with that being said, it's going to be the most recent 10. Okay, you can just click on the contact's name. It'll bring you to the cart. When you bring it to the, not the cart, sorry, the actual contact information. When you go to the contact information, you'll see all the activity you've done for that client. As you can see for Mr. Mission Impossible, I have 3 saved searches. I have my carts with 5 listings in it. I have 7 CMAs, and I have 8 sent emails, okay? So if you look further over to the right, you'll see this little icon which signifies the cart. That's your shopping cart. So whatever number is underneath that, that signifies how many listings you have in that cart. If you move over, you have a little notepad. It may not look like one, but that's what it is, okay? So what happens is when you send a listing to a client and they open it up via the portal, underneath the photos, they can start a conversation, okay? And you all can communicate via the portal, okay? So right now I have 1 note for that listing. When I click on that number, it's going to bring me to the actual listing. It's going to say, hey, this is the MLS number, this is the address and everything for that listing. And if you click on the notepad again for that listing, you can view the conversation. Okay, keep in mind, I'm not a realtor, so I'm talking to myself here. This is all me talking to myself, all right? If I go over here to this little box, this is where I can type anything in and reply to my client. And it's going to go straight to the client, okay? So, let's go back. So, we have the red heart, emphasis on red hearts. That means favorite. When you go into the portal, you're going to see multiple colored hearts. The red means favorite. So I have 4 favorites, okay? The light bulb means it's a possibility. Hey, I like it, but I don't love it. It'll be a great backup, right? And the trash can basically means, hey, why did you send it to me in the first place, okay? So, let's get out of here. Let's go back home. All right, so that's going to be it for recent used contacts. Let's move over to the external links. So you have Remind. Earlier, I explained to you what Realist Tax was. Remind is basically a third-party version of that. It's a tax record program with some other cool features. If you're interested in any of these third parties that I'm about to name, then you would need to go to the board's website, nomar.org, and you can register for the courses there and learn more about them, okay? It's a different instructor. We have InstaNext Transaction Desk, which is basically a creative suite of programs that cater to you all, the realtors. You have programs such as Identisign, which is an e-signature program that you can electronically sign documents, okay? We also have Data Co-op, that's our program, which is CoreLogic. There you can go and search in different MLSs that's outside your boundaries, okay? MLSs that's outside of those 10 parishes that I named earlier, okay? So if you want to go take a peek in the Greater Baton Rouge MLS, you can use this program to do so, okay? Showing time. That's how you schedule your appointments for your showings. If your clients see a listing that they like and they say, hey, I want to go see this Saturday at 9 p.m., you use the showing time feature to set up that appointment. You wait for your confirmation. Once it's confirmed, you're good to go. And keep in mind, you add the showing time feature to your listings once you make it active. If it's incomplete, it will not work, okay? It has to be on the market, meaning it has to be active, okay? Also, we have RE Technology. That's a third-party website which allows users to keep up to date with any news and alerts that just cater to the real estate industry. New technologies, any information that you all need to be aware of. Zip Farms, that's another third party. That's going to be different farm templates that serve different purposes. Okay, if you're interested in that, take the class on it and you'll learn the bulk of it. right here where it says MLS Rules and Regulations. This is important. Okay, so it's 42 pages, so I don't expect everyone to go in there and print those 42 pages, but you can definitely download this right here, this little arrow pointing down. You can do a right click and hit Save As, because this is something you want to get familiar with. You do not want to learn the hard way, because the hard way means money coming out of your pocket versus money going in your pocket, okay? So get familiar with everything. If you have any questions about anything, or you're skeptical about something you're about to do in Matrix, stop right there. Do not do it. Give us a call and allow us to do our job, which makes sure you all are in good hands, okay? 5 minutes can save you $500, okay? So keep that in mind. Give us a call and we'll make sure we answer all your questions. If we don't know, we're going to point you to the person that does know, okay? So you're in good hands. Don't worry. Let's go back. Cloud CMA, that's a third-party CMA program. We have our own in Matrix. If you're interested in that, you can register for the class and learn more. Matrix training registration, this is important. This pertains to all Matrix classes, anything that's Matrix related, no third parties, okay? You can go here and you can look at the actual schedule for the whole month, okay? You have the classes, the title, you have the date of the class, you have the location. Emphasis on the location. Make sure that if you want a Metairie class, you register for a Metairie class, okay? You don't want to register for a Mandeville thinking it's Metairie and show up and there's nothing going on, okay? It happens all the time, all right? Currently, all classes are canceled. We're going to be working on a workaround for that, but you would have a registration link right here that will bring you to the Eventbrite where you can register for those classes, okay? Let's go back. All right, you have the Matrix facts right here, just some factual information. You have the mobile MLS app information. It's called NOLA MLS. It's supported by iPhone and Android. I recommend you all download it for when you're on the go and you need some quick information. How you change your password there, some more information. Status definitions. Here's a breakdown of all the definitions for the statuses if you need to refresh your memory. Scroll down. This is important. This is all the tech support information for those third parties. If you have any questions pertaining to any of those third parties, you would call them, not MLS support, okay? Now, of course, if you call us, we can give you this information, but you can also get the information here. Let's get out of here. And last but not least, you have a shortcut to the NOMAR website, NOMAR calendar. You click on it, it's going to bring you directly to the calendar so you can see what's on the agenda for the month or following months for NOMAR, okay? Let's go back. Next widget, you have additional. So additional serves one purpose. This widget is there so it's there to store whatever widgets you chose to close out. So if you chose to close out my stat, you say, hey, I'm not going to use this. I don't need this widget. You can hover over the title and you can hit the X. When you hit the X, you're going to think it's deleted, but it hasn't been deleted. It's been relocated to the additional widget. So all you would do, if you ever log into Matrix and you don't see a widget that you know was there the previous day or last week, locate the additional widget, hover over the title of the widget you want to bring back out, do a left click hold, and just drag it out and release it. You can put it where it was at previously or wherever else you see fit. Just release it, okay? And the last widget we have on the home page is the listing data checker. This pertains to all violations, such as violation history, my notifications, my office violations, and reported violations. Hopefully no one has to go here, but if you do, that's where it's located, okay? Let's scroll up to the top. Everyone see this little field over here where it says recent searches? This is a cool feature. This will show you your most recent searches within like the last 7 days, okay? So if you run into a scenario where you're up all night trying to do a search for a client and storming outside and your power goes out, well, no need to panic. When you get your power back up and running, log into Matrix, go to your recent searches, and just click on the title for whatever recent search you need to go back to. If you don't know what the title was, look at the time and the date. Just go back to whatever time and date that was, or you can look at the results. These numbers over here to the far right is the number of results for each search. Okay, so you can't go wrong. And last but not least, for the home page, you have the speed bar. So this is the speed bar right here, everyone. The speed bar is going to allow you to search for properties, okay? A quick way. So it's your search engine for properties. And you can search via 2 ways, either the MLS number or numbers, meaning you can put more than one MLS number in there. All you do is type it in. I'm just making something up right now. Put a space and put it in the other sets and just keep repeating those steps. So what happens is once you actually hit enter, it's going to have all the results on the same page for you, okay? So that's one way. You can also search for the listings via the actual address. So with that being said, when you take the address route, you never want to put any pre-directions. You don't want to put north, south, east, west. Let's just say it's Claiborne. You don't want to put north Claiborne or south Claiborne. You just put the street name, which would be Claiborne. Okay. Also, you never want to put any suffix. You don't want to put drive, lane, road, avenue. Okay. So all you put is the street number and the street name, and you hit enter. Okay. And last but not least, there's a little feature that's cool called the Gastric wildcard, which basically is going to be a little handicap in case you have difficulty spelling something, you don't know how it's spelled. I'll give you a scenario. Let's just say you're searching for something on St. Charles, right? As we all know, Saint can be spelled multiple ways. It can be abbreviated, ST, it can be ST period, or it can be spelled out, okay? So, one thing you know for sure is you can't spell Saint without putting the S. So if you put the S first and you hold down shift and press number 8, the asterisk, which is the little star, that's telling the system, hey, I know what it starts with, but I do not know what it ends with, okay? So if you do not know what something starts with, but you know what it ends with, the asterisk will be first, okay? So the asterisk goes for whatever information you do not know, all right? So I'm going to put a space. That's for St. Charles. Like I said before, I'm not going to put F because you don't want to put any suffix. Hit enter. Voila. All right. As you can see, I have ST period. I have ST. If I scroll down, I have Saint spelled all the way out. Okay. So you covered all your grounds, okay, by using the asterisk wildcard. And also, some people say, hey, that's too many results. Can I refine that? Can I specify a unit number or something? Yeah, you can. Start this way. When you get to the results, see where it says criteria? Click it. Now you have options to refine. You can put the emphasis on active only. Always look at your matches so you can know what you did to hit 0 if you do hit 0. Active. Watch how a big difference you're going to see right there. It went from 5,000 plus to 77 matches. If you wanted to put a unit number for a condo, you can just specify right here. You want to put a price, beds, baths, anything else you want to refine it down to, specify. When you're done, hit results right here. Or at the top right there, either or. And there you go. So that's how you operate the speed bar, okay? So let's go back home. And now we're going to start the search, okay? So for search, you don't need to click on the search tab. Just hover over it. That's all you have to do. Just hover over it, right? So what you're going to do from here is select your property type. Like I said before, you have residential, multifamily, vacant land, commercial, lease, and cross property, which consists of all property types. I'm going to do a residential. You see where it says quick and you have create your own? Never do create your own unless you're really trying to create your own and you know what you're doing. Okay, most appraisers use this feature. You all should probably just stick to quick. I'll show you why. When you do create your own, this is all you have to start with. You have to add all of the criteria fields you need for the most part. Now if you do quick, you have everything you need, and if you're missing anything that's not defaulted, you can always add an additional field, which I will cover shortly. So let's start from the top. So we're going to start over here on the left-hand column, okay? So I'm going to go over the statuses. You have active, pending continue to show, leased, now listed solds or leased, open predication, sold, under contract, withdrawn, and expired, okay? Look to the right. This is the time range for each status, okay? You can enter this information 2 ways, okay? You can either do a date range, which means you're using the actual date, meaning you can use this calendar over here. It may not look like a calendar icon, but that's what it is. Click on it. Okay, you can specify a start point, you can specify an end point, and then hit OK. I showed you that because now you know how it's formatted for the date. It's a 2-digit month, 2-digit day, and 4-digit year. You put your dash and you put your end point. Now that you know that, you don't have to use the calendar anymore. You just type it in. That's called a date range. You also have the day range. The day range is specifying days, so you can do 0-180 for the last 6 months. 0-365 for the last year, okay? Give you a quick little disclaimer. Whenever you're doing auto emails, never do a date range. Always do a day range, because if you put a date range, you're putting an endpoint. So if you put today's date to the end of the month, the auto email will stay active, but you won't get anything that exceeds that end date that you put. So if you do a day range, which would be like 0 to 180, you're going to constantly get results, okay? So keep that in mind. Now, if you're just doing a direct email, meaning you're generating the results, you're just cherry picking your listings, and you're sending it directly to the client, it does not matter. You can do a date range or a day range. It's up to you. So let's scroll down. Next, you have the dwelling type. Keep in mind, we're dealing with a residential property type right now. So the dwelling types or subtypes are going to be different based upon the actual property type you're dealing with. So for residentials, you have condominiums, single family detached, single family attached, which would be a townhome, and you have single family garden patio homes, okay? Scroll down. For condition, you have new, excellent, very good, average, fair, and poor. Now, everyone, they're actually they actually have some definitions for the statuses. A lot of people don't pay attention to the definitions for the statuses. They just say, oh, I think this is very good, I think this is excellent. There's actually definitions for it. Click the little question mark, and there you go. Okay? So no need to guess. And you can also hover over the question mark. That pertains to all criteria fields. If you don't know what it means, hover over the question mark and click it, it'll tell you. Down here where it says age, all open fields where you have to enter a value, you use 3 tools. You have the plus for more, you have the minus for less, and you have a dash for a range. I'll show you. So let's just say you didn't want the age to exceed 10 years of age. You can do this like this. You can put 0-10. That'll be within 10 years of age. You can also do 10 years or less, meaning 10 years minus sign, 10 years or less, okay? And if you wanted to exceed 10 years or more, you would put 10 plus, okay? So remember those 3 tools. The minus for less, the plus for more, and the dash for range. That's going to apply to all your open fields where you type in a value like a number amount, okay? Let's move on. You have age description 1, which consists of fixer-upper, new construction, resale, and tear down. Age description 2, you have age unknown, all original, historical, none, remodel structural changes, renovated cosmetic changes of at least 50%, never occupied, to be built, under construction, and under renovation. Notice you have and, are, you also have not, okay? So keep that in mind. And means multiple options in here can apply to the same listing, okay? We're going to skip the middle section for right now. That's the location. That's going to be a different process, so I'm going to go to that last, okay? Let's move all the way over to the right. So for price, remember how I was telling you earlier? You have thousands checked off. If you're doing the lease, deselect that, okay? You don't want to put 1,200 thinking you're getting 1,200 when in actuality, you're getting 1.2 million, all right? So deselect that for all lease property types. And the same principles apply. The plus, the minus, and the dash. MLS number. You should rarely ever have to use this field because if you know the MLS number to a property, you can just use the speed bar and type it in and get straight to it versus doing a whole search just to get that. Bedrooms. Same tools apply. Plus, dash, minus, full baths, half baths, total baths, approximate living area, that's your square footage. You have lower level master bedroom, basically meaning, hey, if it's more than a 1-story, do you want the master bedroom to be on the first level? Just check it off if so. If not, leave it open. If you don't check something off, you get all the above. It's open. Waterfront, you have waterfront, water access community, and water view. Foundation, you have other, raised, and slab. Pool type is a little bit different. You have above ground, community, heated solar, in ground, none, saltwater. You notice you have and, you have are, you don't have a not. So watch how you use this field. So if you want something, check it once, it's going to put a check in it. If you do not want something, check it twice, it's going to put an X. And if you accidentally clicked it one time and you want to remove that check that you put in there, that third time is going to remove it. Okay? So 1 for a check, 2 for a no, and 3 to clear it out. Okay? These are your additional fields down here. You have a ton of them, so I'm not going to go over all of them. I'm just going to show you the most commonly used ones. You have neighborhood, where you can specify the exact neighborhood you want to go to. That would be a location criteria field that's going to require you to add it manually. It's not defaulted. Third party / REO, real estate owned, that's going to be all your foreclosures. So when you go to additional fields and you want to put the emphasis on foreclosures, don't look for foreclosures. Look for third party / REO, real estate owned. You have relocation, neither, bank owned, and HUD. Scroll down, this is for your stories of the house, additional features. As you can see, some of those fields that you're those criteria fields that you're adding may not look like what you need, but as you can see, additional features has a selection pool. So sometimes you just have to add and see what it consists of because what you're looking for may be in there. Okay, so you have agent remarks, you have public remarks. So the thing about agent remarks and public remarks, you have to use the asterisk when you're using those fields, okay? Because if you're familiar with the agent and public remarks, you know that it's usually a sentence or a paragraph. And if you just put in the information you want without the asterisk, you're basically saying that information you specify has to be the only thing that's in there, okay? When that's not going to be the case. So I'll give you an example. Go to public remarks. Let's just say you want to put the emphasis on hardwood floors, right? So you're going to start off with an asterisk. You're going to type in what you want, hardwood floors. And you're going to close it with an asterisk. Okay? Now watch this. Whenever you type something in, always pay attention to your matches. I actually recommend not putting any criteria in until you put in your remarks. Because that way, if you enter it, you can see if you got matches. If you get matches, then you know you entered the information in correctly. If you don't, then you know you need to reword it or try another method, okay? So once you put in whatever the agent remarks or public remarks in, then from that point on, you can start adding all the other criteria, because if you jump the gun and do it the opposite, you may have put the public remarks information incorrectly, but it may conflict with the other criteria. So that's why you always start with agent remarks and public remarks first and then go from there. So obviously what I put in there works. So there's a cool little feature. Right here, if you start off with an exclamation point in front of the actual asterisk, that means not. So if you didn't want hardwood floors, you would put the asterisk after you put the exclamation point. Now, let's just say you wanted to add some other information. This will be your R feature. You will put a comma after that last asterisk, space, and repeat the steps. That's your R feature, okay? So this or that. That's how you would go about it. Take that out. So you have style, like camelback, townhouse, shotgun, etc. All that's going to be in here. All right. Exterior features. You have all of that there. Let me show you how to actually add an additional field now. So see where it says additional fields, add/remove. If you never added a field, it won't say remove. It will just say add only. So click that. So you have two columns. You have the available fields, you have the selected fields. Available fields is going to be your selection pool. Selected fields are going to be the actual additional fields that you've added already. If it's under the selected fields, it means it's on the criteria page already. So the goal is to get something from available fields to selected fields. So I pretty much have all the good stuff over, but if you want to add something, all you would need to do is click it once and you can hit add. Same thing if you want to remove it, click it once and hit remove, or you can just double click it and it'll add over. Same thing to remove it, okay? Once you're done, you use back on matrix. Everyone, this is so important. When you're doing a search and you have criteria entered, you never use the back or forth button on matrix. You use the one on, you don't use the one on the browser, I'm sorry. Never use the back and forth button on the actual browser. You use the one on matrix, such as right here. Because what happens is if you use the back and forth on the browser, it'll bring you back, it'll bring you forward, but it's going to remove all your criteria, and that's going to be a headache. Okay, no one wants to have to do this all over again. So I'm going to use the back button here, and then I'm going to finish doing what I was doing. Okay, so that's basically how you would go about that. Now let me cover the actual location fields. Okay, so see right here where it says within blank miles of, that's called the within the range feature. So what that does is it allows you to specify your mile radius from your starting point. You can use the defaults right here. If what you need doesn't show from the drop down, you can just go in the actual within box, type what you want. Let's just say you want 0.75 miles. And then right here where it says miles of, you can put the actual starting point. So let's just say I wanted to put this location, which is 3645 north. All right, so you see what just happened? I was typing in and the system actually recognized what I was typing. So if that's the correct address, you want to definitely click did you mean, because if you don't select that format, it won't actually register in the system, okay? So watch what happens. See where it says map search, no map selected, watch what happens when I click did you mean. Map area selected, so let's test it out. Click map search, voila. It did everything on the map for you, as you can see. That little red point is your starting point. That's your subject property, all right? And this is going to be your 0.75 mile radius from that starting point, right? So remember what I was telling you about the back and forth? So I want to get back to the criteria page now, but I did a search. I don't want to lose all of this information. So over here at the top right, criteria, map, results, I'm just going to use these tabs to go back and forth. So I need to go back to criteria. I'm going to click on criteria and hit clear map. That's basically how you use that feature. I'll show you how to use the mapping feature without the within the range in a little bit. So, see down here where it says map? You see up here where it says map at the top right and map search? So you can get to the map via all three ways. Why do they have 3 ways? I don't know, but they all work, so that's all that matters, right? All right, so let me show you this. You see this little row right here? This allows you to put the emphasis on a particular street. So let's just say right here where it says street name, you want to put the emphasis on St. Charles, right? So let's see. Let's say Charles. Let's see, St. Charles. All right, there we go. Then you can always go street type and you can put avenue right there, okay? You can do more and you can repeat that process. So whatever streets you have specified, I think it goes up to about 8, let me see. All right, so yeah, so that's the max you can put. All right, you just put the street name and you're only gonna get results based upon those streets that you specified, okay? Scroll down, you have the state field, you have parish, you have city, you have zip code, you have subdivision. For parish, you just type in what you want, or you can click this little icon to give you a selection pool right here. You can just click it one time and hit add, or you can double click it and it'll move over to current selection, meaning it's added. Okay? When you're done, you just hit OK. Same thing for city. Same thing for zip code, same thing for subdivision. Now I'll show you a quick little feature. So if you're not from New Orleans and you're trying to get familiar with your zip codes within whatever city you're going to put the emphasis on, you can just select the city first. Let's just say I want to do Metairie. I want to see what zip codes are going to be in Metairie. Select the city. Don't type anything in for zip codes. Click this little icon. It's going to give you a chart. It's going to give you all the zip codes for whatever city you specify. You can do that for any city that we cover, okay? Cool little feature. All right, so we covered all the criteria fields. So now I'm going to clear all this out, and we're going to go ahead and start our search so I can show you how to do the save searches, the auto emails, add to cart, etc. Right? And I'm going to actually use the mapping feature for the location for this search. So let me put my criteria in. All right. Just going to keep it brief. 70122, enter. All right, I'll leave it there because I have 40 matches and I didn't even specify a location yet. So I'm going to click map search right here to go to the map, and this is how you use the mapping feature, okay? So let me see something. Let me go back. Let me take the zip code out because I recommend not putting anything in right here whenever you're doing the mapping feature. I recommend that you either use the mapping feature or you use the location fields on the actual criteria page. So let me take that out. Then I'm going to go to map search. All right, as you can see, now I have results for everything that's on the map. I can always go in here and I can do a left click hold on the map as long as you're not clicking on the house. You see these houses? These houses are all listings, okay? The color signifies the status. So green is active, the orange is going to be continue to show, pending continue to show, okay? And yellow will be under contract, red will be sold. So you may be in New Mexico somewhere when you get to this map. So the first thing I recommend doing is going to right here where it says jump to address under the map tab and type in your starting point, or you can click the arrow pointing down and use one of your jump to locations. Let's go with Algiers, how about that? All right, and like I said, you can just left click on the map and you can reposition further. My best advice that I can give you is to make sure you can see the make sure you can see the area you're trying to cover before you actually select a drawing tool and start making your shape. Because you never want to start and can't finish, right? So I'm going to stay right up in here, right? Tarrytown, Algiers, right there, right? So let's get to the drawing tools. I'm going to go through every last one. So the first one is this perfect circle, which is the radius. You want to do a left click on it, it's going to turn yellow. When it turns yellow, it's time to go to the map and make the shape. So I'm going to just find my starting point. Remember, never click on any of the houses because that's going to give you listing information. I'm going to do a left click hold here. I'm just going to drag it out. See how it's giving me a perfect mile radius? Whatever your mile radius is, you just stop at that number and you let it go. Because the goal is to make sure you only get results for what falls within your actual shape, okay? As you can see, I don't have all the results I have. I only have 9 because I only have 9 listings that fall within that shape, okay? So that's going to be, let me zoom out some. You can zoom out using the plus and minus, plus to zoom in, minus to zoom out. You can see more as far as the area of the map, but if you zoom in, you see more detailed information such as the streets, cross streets, neighborhoods, such things like that, right? So, you see this little dark blue outer layer? Let's just say that this shape is in the perfect location, but it's too big or it's too small. If I do a left click hold on that dark blue outer layer, you see how the hand turns into a finger with a gray marker? Do a left click hold, you can drag that in, you can drag it out, okay? You can make adjustments. You can always make adjustments. You're not locked in, okay? Also, let's just say the circle is the perfect size, but it's in the wrong area, okay? Or I need to move it over to the left or right a little bit. So you see this little red icon right here, this little circle? Do a left click hold on that and just move it around wherever you see fit. Now let it go. That's all you have to do. Also, let's just say you're dealing with a client that says, hey, I love New Orleans and all the surrounding areas, but there's this one particular area that I don't like. Please don't send me any listings in that area. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, that that's the location, right? So if I hover over that little red circle, I can hit exclude this shape, and now I'm going to get everything except for what falls within that shape, right? And to delete it, you can just hover over it again and hit delete shape. You can hit include this shape to bring it back, which is defaulted that way. When you make the shape, it's going to be included. And you also can delete your shapes using this broom over here that's yellow now. It's originally blue. But be careful with that tool because that's clear all shapes. With that being said, you can have multiple shapes, different drawing tools. It does not matter. But if you hit clear all, it's going to remove all versus you just trying to delete this one. All right? So that's the radius. Next, we have the rectangle. Click it, it's going to turn yellow. Let's go make the shape. So this one is a left click hold, and you just make the shape, all right? Left click hold and just make the shape, cover your radius. If you want to make adjustments, remember, locate the dark blue outer layer, move up, down, however you see fit, all right? You can exclude, include, however you see fit. All right, let's delete that. Then you have the polygon. This is my favorite. This is the connected dots polygon because you have two. You have this one and the freehand. I like this one better, but to each its own. So I'm going to go right here. This one's a little bit more tedious, so you have to be patient until you master it. So you do a left click and release. Left click and release. You're just making points. Left click, release. You have the most flexibility with this polygon tool versus the other ones. See how I can make this awkward shape? It's perfect because you may want to go around certain areas. Okay? And keep in mind, you can always reposition that dark blue outer layer, remember. All right? Let me clear it. And last but not least, we have the freehand polygon, which is right here. Okay? You do a left click hold on this one. You actually hold it. The other one, you left click release. This one, you left click and hold. And you just make your shape. All right? I don't have a mouse, by the way, so don't laugh at me if my shape is a little bit unappealing. All right. So there you go, all right? Let me clear that out. Next, you have this little layers feature right here. So when you click the layers feature, it allows you to put different boundaries on the map. The most commonly used one is the flood zones. See how it says zoom in and it's in red? That basically means if something you're trying to enable is red, you need to zoom in so you can enable it, right? So watch this. It's red. Let me zoom in. And you see it disappear. Now I can hit flood zones and watch what happens. Voila, there you go. All right, you can move around the map and see all of that information you need. If you don't know what the color codes mean, here's a breakdown right here. Long story short, AE is going to be that 100-year flood plan. It's going to be like the violet color, lavender. X is going to be the yellow and the burnt orange, okay? Let's get out of here. And you also have some other things in here too. Let me deselect that so you can see better. Points of interest is pretty cool. You can put the emphasis on like banking institutions, educational institutions, fire department, police station, whatever you want. Just pay attention to the icon for each category because that's what you're going to look for on the actual map, okay? You're going to look for that on the actual map. Let's see something. So let me go to gentility because they don't have any in that area, obviously. Let me zoom in some. There we go. There we go. So, all right, let's take that down. So you just click on the icon, it's going to tell you exactly what the institution is. Like this one is Holy Cross Primary School. This one down here, that's the original cafe. Down here you have Good Time Sushi, etc. It tells you the address and everything, right? All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and let's refine our location because I'm going to show you how to do the auto emails and everything now. Oh, and here's another cool little feature. See this map right here? If you're dealing with like a rural area, like in a country area where you have a lot of wetlands and mountains and all that good stuff, you can change that map to satellite and you can see more information. You can see if you're like in a rural area, as you can see over here, you don't have any properties. It's a little easier. It comes in handy. All right, change that back. All right, so let me go ahead and make my shape. So let's just say, hypothetically speaking, this is the area my client is interested in. I made the shape. Now all I need to do is check off those listings so I can go down here and use actions and email, print, etc. So I'm going to click all. So I can either do all right here and check it off, or I can just do results. Either or, and I can do all from there. Do none to deselect. All right. So what I need to do now is I want to go through all the options under the actions, but the first thing I need to do is check off the listings. I'm going to check some of them all. All right. Actions, I'm going to go through each one. So email, this is how you do a direct email. You check off the listings and you click email underneath actions. You put your to recipient. If you want to carbon copy someone, you put that information there. You do not have to carbon copy yourself by typing your email address in here. Just check off BCC blind carbon copy. You'll get copies of all of your emails. All right. Put your subject in there, add your body, and hit send. It's that simple. Go back. Next, you have print. Click on print. So when you print, you have to select the display you want to print. Now, here's a little disclaimer. If it's going to a client, make sure it's a client-friendly display. There's an easy way to know if it's client-friendly display. Just look for the word client in front of the display, and there you go. All right, select the one you want. Say I'll do client forward photo large print. All right. Over here you have print with header, print without header and footer, print with header, footer, etc. Once you set up your header and footer information, which I will show you in Matrix 1, you'll have this option here. But until you do so, you won't even have that option. But you will have the print search criteria if you want that printed. Ink saver, I don't recommend using this. I know ink is expensive, but hey, in this scenario, it may be a pain if you check this off, because when you check it off once, it stays that way until you remember to go back and deselect it. So it says, ink saver, if any, don't print images. Okay, so if you don't see any images, just know the system isn't broke. Okay, you just have to go and deselect that. Okay, so I'm going to check that off. Client forward a photo large print. I'm going to scroll down and let's preview so you can see what it's going to consist of. So this is how it's going to look, okay? Just a little preview. And I also wanted to show you that because if I go back, there's a feature called email PDF. If you're dealing with a client who says, hey, I want a link to the portal, because that's what you're going to get if you just do a direct email. If they say, hey, just send me exactly what you're looking at. This may be a broker or agent, etc. If you just want to send them that screenshot of what you're looking at, you want to do an email PDF. And what I was just previewing, that's exactly what's going to go to them. It's going to be a link. They're going to click it, and it's going to open up the PDF, meaning no links to click on. You just view it, print it, and that's about it, okay? So I'm going to get back to results. I'm going to cover CMA and Matrix 2. I'm not going to get into that. Directions, let's do that. So let's just say those are the properties that I have a showing to do. Let's just say later on today, hypothetically speaking, I want to go show these properties. So the system puts it in the best order that it sees fit, but you have the option to change this. So if you want to change this, you can go in there and you just do a left click on the right side of the photos, or you can use the arrow and you just put it in the position you see fit. All right, whatever order you see fit. When you're done, if you decide to change that order, you have to click directions down here again so it can recalculate. And there you go. It's going to give you your total distance. It's going to give you the total, the estimated drive time, and a breakdown of everything. You can either email this information or you can print it. I recommend email because you may forget that printed out paper, but if you email it, I'm pretty sure your email address or account is associated with your phone, so you can't lose it. Okay? I'm going to go back to results. Also, if you want to export this information into an Excel file, you just check off what you want. Let's just say you want everything off this page. Check it off and hit export. Once you hit export, it's going to ask you what display you want. You can create your own display, by the way. You can restructure those columns in there and add your own. I'll show you that in Matrix 1, okay? Select the display and hit export. When you hit export, it's going to download into a CSV file, which is the file type you need for an Excel program. And there you go. If you're familiar with Excel, you know that your options are limitless once you actually get the data here. So you all do whatever you see fit once you get here, okay? Let's go back. All right, that's pretty much it for that tab. Let's go to refine. So you have two options when you refine. You can either narrow or you can discard. For narrow, whatever you have checked off, that's what you keep. You remove everything else. For discard, whatever you have checked off, that's what you remove, okay? Here's a little disclaimer for that. When you're doing auto emails, never narrow. You can discard, but don't narrow. If you choose to narrow during the auto email, you're only going to get status updates for the initial results. You won't get future listings that fit that same search criteria. So keep that in mind, all right? And if you discard, you can always undiscard it, all right? Let's go to save. So save is going to be the new auto emails, the save search, etc., right? So when you're saving something, you never check anything off because you're not saving a particular listing. You're saving it all as a whole, okay? So we're going to do save, new save, search. This is how you do it. Remember what I was telling you earlier? Anything that has the criteria fill or just a fill in yellow, that means it's mandatory. If it's not yellow, it's optional. But what did I say earlier? If it makes sense, use it, even if it's optional. Because something that takes 30 seconds can really be beneficial, okay? Search name, I'll just put test. 789. Contact name, I'll put Mr. Mission Impossible. Now, remember the favorite search widget that I was telling you about earlier? So this is how you make a saved search, a favorite search on the widget, okay? You just check off right here where it says Invoice favorite search. It's telling you have 10 maximum that you can have, and you hit save.
Okay, pause.
All right, everyone, so the last thing we have under the Save tab is going to be new auto emails, okay? So remember, the new auto emails is just like the Save search, but it involves emails going out to your client, okay? So you want to just hit Save, new auto email. Remember, anything that's highlighted in yellow is mandatory. Now you have to add a contact because it's going to an actual client. So I'm going to select Mr. Mission Impossible here. Subject, I'll put test 333, just make something up. All right, so you have the welcome email right here, right? So the welcome email is going to have an activation link that your client is going to have to click on. So with that being said, whenever you set up an auto email for the first time, you always want to do the welcome email. Recurring email is going to be for the future emails, anything after the initial. Recurring emails don't have activation links, okay? Without them clicking the activation link, the auto email will expire within, I would say, 30 days, okay? It's going to be deactivated, so you don't want to do all this work for nothing. So with that being said, whenever you set up a client for an auto email, as soon as you're done, give them a call, send them a text message and say, hey, I just set you up for an auto email. Can you please check your email and click the activation link within the email. From there, you're good to go, all right? Also, a lot of realtors say, hey, this is a lot of clutter. When the client sees it, they may think it's spam. You can delete this information and reword it however you see fit, okay? Just keep it universal because you don't want to say, hey, welcome to the portal Tom is going to sell as someone else, and you click this little settings here, which allows you to set any information you have entered as a default. So with that being said, you can reword this, locate the settings gear, and click set current message as my default welcome email text, okay? And you can always reset it when you're done. That applies to the search criteria page as well. Locate the gear, even on the results page. Anytime you see a gear, just know it means set as default. But in this scenario, if you're going to set something as a default, keep it universal. Don't just greet it to one person. Keep it greeted to anyone, okay? Because you don't want to call the wrong person the wrong name and they take it, defensively. They get defensive and take it offensively, okay? You don't want that happening. It can kind of ruin your relationship before they even get started, all right? Recurring email, the same thing applies. Go in there. If you want to change the wording, do so. If you want to set it as a default, do so, okay? Let's scroll down. Edit your signature. This is something I'm going to cover in the Matrix 1. I'm not going to get into it in this class, but in Matrix 1, I'll show you how to set up your email signature as well. This is the criteria pertaining to the search. Scroll down. This is your settings. As I was telling you before, concierge mode. This is how you enable concierge mode, and I'll elaborate on it again. Concierge mode allows the user, which is the realtor, the sender, to control what goes to the client via auto email, okay? Scroll down, you have show this contact and reverse prospecting results. I'll get into reverse prospecting in Matrix 2 and the tips and tricks. We're not going to get into that right now. And you have enable a favorite search on home tab to maximum. This would be how you would make an auto email a favorite search on a favorite searches widget on the home page. You just check it off, okay? I show you how to do the save search into a favorite. This is how you do an auto email to a favorite. Scroll down. You see how you have to schedule down there? You have some options. You have as soon as possible, meaning as soon as the listings hit the market, it would automatically go to the client. You can do daily. If you do daily, you need to specify the days of the week and the time period. Do you want an AM, which is like 6 a.m., or a PM, which is like 12 p.m.? And then last but not least, you have monthly. I don't recommend monthly for someone who's trying to make some money. That's going to be mostly for your appraisers and stuff like that, because this is a first come, first serve type of industry. So if you wait longer than 24 hours to make a move sometime, it will be under contract. It happens all the time, so just keep that in mind. Now watch what happens when I check off concierge mode. Schedule disappears, and the reason why is because if you go concierge mode route, it's up to you to determine how fast the results goes to the clients. So keep that in mind. And you notice it says save and go to approvals versus just save now. So let's do so. This is the approval page, okay? This is where you're gonna make any adjustments as far as altering your results. If you see something in the results that your client don't like and you want to remove it, you can do it here, okay? It also shows you when it was emailed. So I'll give you a quick little scenario. Let's just say you're dealing with a client that says, hey, send me 5 listings at a time, give me a couple days, and I'll just request you to send me 5 more, but don't give me a serious influx of emails coming in at once, okay? I don't want 20 to 100 listings at once to view. Give me 5 at a time, and I'll tell you to send me 5 more. This is how you're gonna do it. Check out the first 5, then you're gonna go to actions. You can do reject if you don't like it. You can do approve if you do like it. So that's your first 5. You can do approved. Also, you see how I accidentally hit reject? Watch this, I didn't delete it. It's in the rejected folder. You see right here where it says show 5 rejected? Click on it. I can take all of those that I rejected and I can just approve them. So whenever you reject something, you can always bring it back and approve it. It's not deleted, it's just moved from the approval page to a rejected folder. So now I'm gonna go back where it says show 13 unsent. And then let's just say you're done here, hit done. A week later, you come to Matrix and now it's time to send 5 more, right? You're probably wondering, hey, how do I send 5 more emails if I don't know how to get to the actual approval page again for that auto email? This is how. Log into Matrix, you're gonna be on the home page. You notice this was not here prior to you setting up that auto email with the concierge feature enabled. So that's one way. It's telling you one auto email with 13 listings that need to be approved or rejected. Over here you have a concierge widget. What this allows you to do is it's more detailed. So if you have 13 that need to be approved, you may have 7 that's from one client, and you may have another 6 for another client. It'll break it down and show you exactly how many you have there. Okay? You can just click the name of the contact, go to the ones you need to approve, send the rest of them. Or they may say, hey, don't worry about sending me just 5. Just send me everything you got now. I want to just get it over with, right? Actions, approve all 13. Okay? And you're done. Alright, so we have one tab left down here. We have the cart, so let me show you how to add and remove to and from the cart. Alright, so you're going to click on carts, of course. You're going to select what you want to add to the cart, right? Just check those first 5 off. Now, this is the thing. If you have a cart already created for the contact, you can just click this drop down, select it, and hit add to. Okay? If you do not have one, and keep this in mind, each client can have multiple carts. They can have up to 5 carts per client, right? So watch this. I'm going to go over here where it says new cart. Let me deselect new cart, because I'm going to create one for a new cart for maybe an existing client or a new client. It's up to me. All right, then I'm going to hit new cart right here. I'm going to put a name, test 333. Contact, Mr. Mission Impossible, save. And as you can see, now it's been added. And watch this. So once you create one, now let's just say I wanted to add these two to that one. Now since it's already down there, just hit add, okay? Now you're probably wondering, hey, how do I remove them? So watch this. I'm gonna do my matrix, my carts, locate the cart you just created, right here, test 333. You can click this arrow pointing down, or the title, either or, all right? Or you can just go over here, right here, and click the number. You do results here, and click the number. I think the number will be the quickest route. Click that, it's gonna bring you straight there. Check them all off, carts again, remove check, and there you go. That's how you remove listings from your cart, okay? So last thing I want to show you all is the actual display. So I'm going to click on the MLS number. It's going to bring me to the 360 property view. This is your default display, okay? We're going to go over this and we're going to be good for the rest of the day, all right? This is going to be it. So as you can see, it gives you the address up here. You have some tax tabs, photo tabs. Let me go to another one. All right, you have more options here. So anything that's grayed out, now this doesn't count because I'm on the listing tab. So if you're not on the tab and it's grayed out like foreclosure, it means that information is not available, okay? All of this information except for the listing and the photos is pretty much going to come from the assessor's website. Yes, we pull all of our tax record information from the assessor. We just make it convenient from you, or you don't have to drive to a courthouse or go on their website. We pull from the website, okay? So this is the listing display, okay? This is your photos right here. You can look through it here, pressing the arrows back and forth, or you can blow it up. My eyesight isn't the best, so I need to blow it up. So let's look through them. You can press this little gadget right here, display. That's going to be for the slideshow, okay? Also, here's going to be all the basic information. It's a residential property type, MLS number, street, all the basic features of the property, neighborhood information, original price, the current price, status, etc. Legal description, bounding streets, directions. Scroll down. You have the general information. Right here is going to be the public remarks, rooms information, special information, agent remarks, and all confidential information down here underneath listing agent information, okay? The client should never see the listing agent information, okay? You have some shortcuts over here. This is for the photos. You shouldn't have to click that because you can just click the photos here. This is for the map. You can pull up the Google map just for that property, see where it's located on the map, just that property, no other, okay? You have the little alarm clock here, which is going to give you all the property, or should I say the listing history for that property, because you can have multiple listings for the same property. This will give you all of them, okay? This is for your attachments, these little sheets. You just click on it and you can view it, download, print. These sheets right here, that's for your attachments. This is for your tax record information, the basics. All right. This CO co-op is going to be different reports to each page and data co-op for the same property. This little caution symbol is how you report a potential violation. And this icon is how you schedule a showing using the showing time feature. Scroll down, you can report a potential violation again right here. Scroll down more, you see right here underneath the confidential information, click on the arrow to view open house. This is how you can view the open house information for that property. Okay, you just click the MLS number, and there you go. That's the full details for the open house for that listing. Okay, let's go up. Let's go over the next tab. This is the tax tab. All right, basic tax information. Gives you the last 3 years of what the owner paid on taxes. It's pretty cool if you ask me. Last market sale, current owner, what it sold for, etc. Photo gallery is going to be right here. These all come from the MLS photos, not the public records, because the public records won't show you photos in our database. All current. Nice photos, by the way. And if you click on each individual one, it'll blow up so you can see it larger. This is your history tab. It's going to be history from the MLS, public records, sometime mortgage, and foreclosure if it applies. Parcel Map is going to give you like 3 maps. It's pretty cool. This one over here, it gives you the lot dimensions. All right. This is the flood map information, which is the flood zone information. Okay, as you can see, this is an AE, so it's going to be more expensive. You have the flood zone date, that's when it was rezoned. This is the flood zone panel code. This right here is going to be the flood code description. This is going to let you know if it's in the special flood hazard area. This one is in. It's going to also show you right here within 250 feet of multiple flood zone. Yes. Okay, and it says right here, flood community name, New Orleans. Scroll down, you also get the visuals just like on the map, and you get the breakdown for the color codes. You get all the above in one tab. You can't go wrong. This is the foreclosure tab. It's only going to be available if it's actively in foreclosure. As you can see, this isn't, okay? So that's going to be it for all the listing information. See right here where it says display, you can play around in here and see all the displays you have at disposal whenever you have some time. All right, let me show you this. You see where it says my hit counters? This is pretty cool. So you can use my hit counters for your listings or other realtors' listings. In this scenario, this will be for other realtors. I couldn't show you for your own because I'm not a realtor and I don't have a listing, but when you come to the Matrix 1, I'll pull up an example for you so you can see that. But this is basically everything pretty much, okay? So I'll elaborate on each column. You see right here where it says portal, client portals? So whatever number you see under client portals, whatever number you see under any of these columns is going to signify the number that pertains to that subject. So right here, client portals, this number means how many listings, or should I say how many portals the listing has reached. So right here, this property right here at 2415 Pressburg Street has reached 270 portals. Okay, it's no duplicates. It's all individual portals, okay? Client views, it means it reached the portal and it actually clicked on the property to view the detailed information. So they didn't just skim past it. They actually looked at the detailed information. Client favorites, meaning, hey, they loved it. The client loved it, okay? Client possibilities mean they liked it, but they didn't necessarily love it, but it'll be a great possibility in case they can't get the one that they really want. Auto emails, this is how many auto emails it showed up in. Previous 14-day views, previous 7-day views, concierge approved, and concierge rejected, okay? Go right here where it says My Matrix. I want to briefly show you how to set up portal notification settings. We won't cover the portal today. We'll cover that in Matrix 1, but let me show you how to get portal notifications. So My Matrix, settings, portal notification settings. And here is where you can set up what you want to be notified via of. So do you want to be notified via when the client visits the portal, save something as a favorite, remove a favorite, save a possibility, remove a possibility, discards a listing, undiscards a listing, add notes, saves a search? Yes, the client can go in the portal and save their own search. I will elaborate on that more in Matrix 1. Visit the portal for the first time. I do not recommend checking all notifications for every last thing up here. Only the things that's very important to you, because you don't want to get notifications for every last thing. It's going to be a headache, okay? These columns are going to be each method you choose to be notified via. Do you want to be notified as soon as possible via the email, text, a daily summary, or all the above? If you choose text message, scroll down here where it says text notification settings. Click right here where it says. All right, so if you choose to use the text notification settings route, you take that route, then what you need to do is go right here where it says mobile number and put in your phone number, whatever that may be. Don't put any dashes. And then put your cellular provider right here. When you're done, hit send me a verification code. It's going to text you a verification code. You're going to take that code and put it into Matrix in that little box you're going to see. You're going to hit save right down here. And that's all you're going to have to do. Once you do that, you're good to go. All right? So with that being said, I'm going to briefly show you this, the links tab. And we're going to wrap it up. So links, I'm going to get straight to the good stuff. Down here, this is going to be your broker tour schedules for each parish. You just click on it and view it. For all those acronyms in Matrix, if you want to know what the abbreviations mean, you can click right here, MLS Documents, MLS Translation Guide, and get familiar with that. This is all your links to all your different real estate resources, such as NOMAR, the LREC, etc. You have your sign ordinance codes, all your links to your different school boards, departments. You have the Louisiana Department of Education, and you have all the parish school boards. You have your links to your assessors' websites right here for each parish for the most part. And if you're responsible for putting your own listings in, I recommend you get an MLS data input form for whatever property type you're working with so you know exactly what fields you need entered. And with that being said, that is everything, everyone. I appreciate your attention. Hopefully I didn't go too fast. I just wanted to make sure you got everything in a reasonable time frame. If you have any questions, give us a call at 504-456-9903 or email us at nomsupport@corelogic.com. And with that being said, you all have a great day.
Why?